The following program is a presentation of Mount Zion Media Ministries.
And from those verses, I want to have this conversation from this subject, examining our fighting and praying. Examining our fighting and our praying. As I read from the New Living Translation, because you are good Bible students, I know that you caught the connection that James made between our fighting and our praying. And I want to say to you, the first time I saw this, and let me tell you what I mean by the first time I saw it. I've been reading the Bible most of my life. When I was a little boy, I used to like reading the Bible, but I didn't always see what was in the Bible. I didn't always understand the Bible. But then my eyes came open. And I was reading this one day, and it came open in a new way. And it blew my mind because I never made a connection between my jealousy toward other folk and my prayer life. I never made a connection between my quarreling with folk, my fighting with them, and my prayer life. But this particular passage suggests to us that there's a connection. And the connection is, there are times that we pray for what we want, and we don't get it, and it leads us to engage in some evil behavior. And here it is right here in the text real quick. He asked this rhetorical question: what is causing the quarrels and the fights among you? Let me just let you meditate on that for a moment. The last quarrel, argument that you had, what was the real cause? The last fight you had with anybody, what was the real cause? The person that you don't like, why is it that you really don't like them? The people that you're envious and jealous of, what is the real cause? Pastor Simmons, it's because they don't like me. Is that the real cause? Pastor Simmons, see, it's because in 1994, they said something about me. Is that the real cause? Pastor Simmons, see, they're always undermining me. They just don't like me. And all those things may have happened to you, but is it the real cause? Because there are some people that don't like you. There are some people that did some stuff to you in 1994. There are some people who undermine you, and you don't go at them like you go at that person you've been fighting with. So what's the real cause? And I believe it's just good for the soul every now and then to pause and examine ourselves, to examine our motives, our action, our thought. And this text gives us the opportunity to do that and listen to what the writer says and gives us as a root cause for some of what's going on. Here it is, and I want to read it from this New Living Translation because it makes it so plain. He says that for some of the quarrels and fightings that we engaged in, they are the result of a war going on the inside of us. That is in verse 1. Don't they come from evil desires at war within you? And let me tell you what this means. This war on the inside of us is a war that happens in the life of folk who've been born again. When you are born again, God puts his spirit in you, and along with his spirit comes his nature. And along with his spirit and nature comes a desire to do what is right. But at the same time, The spirit you had before you were saved, that fleshly spirit or nature, and the devil put some desires in there, and so you've got your own flesh that has nothing to do with the devil, but has to do with what you want. And then the devil putting his stuff in there, and those two elements are warring against the nature of God that's in you that want to do right. That want to do right by other people, want to have right thoughts and right actions. And so this war is going on, and sometimes we lose the war. Can I get some true confessors in here? Anybody ever lost the war besides me? You want to do right, but that flesh raises up in you. You don't want to say that, but the flesh. Nobody won't admit this in church, but some of us got the devil in us, don't we? Not y'all, but us. And the devil is in there, and he has conversations, right? And he put ideas in our mind, right? He put desires in our heart, right? Anybody want to admit that the devil won some of those battles? And it is when the devil wins and when our flesh wins that these quarrels and fights and stuff start happening. And so, listen. Look at verse 2. And so, the cause could be because of the war within us. And then when we lose the war, look at what happens. We start wanting some stuff, but we can't have what we want. You want it, but you don't get it. And when you don't get it, you get frustrated. And after prolonged frustrations, you get fatigued. And then after being frustrated and fatigued for a period of time because you don't get it, and then your eyes start looking in other places. And so, since you couldn't get it legitimately, you even prayed for it, you start scheming on how to get it. And your scheming causes you to look around at others who got what you want. And you're scheming in an effort to get what they got. That is, it's right there. So you scheme and you kill. And somebody said, well, I've never gone that far. See, you don't have to shoot a person to kill them. You can assassinate a person with that little, as my mama would say, that little flannel tongue in your mouth. You can kill a person by the way you treat them. So you want and you don't have, and so you scheme and you kill to get it. Anybody been scheming lately? You don't have to jump up and answer now, I know. But I need you to be honest if this sermon is going to help you. That is right there. Have you been scheming? Have you been trying to hurt other people in order to get what you want and don't have? Now here is something that I saw again for the first time and blew my mind when I saw it, and I had to get in the mirror and confess, Lord, I've been guilty of it, and let me show it to you. He says, you're jealous of what others have, but you can't get it. So you fight and wage war to take it away from them. This blew my mind, y'all. You know, because I like to think that I'm not a jealous person. But I had to be honest and say that there have been times when I've been jealous of other folk. And then the Spirit took me a little deeper. beyond my own jealousy, and I start observing jealousy in other people too. Because I said, Lord, because you got to teach me what this thing means. This scheming and killing other folk. And then you're talking about you covet in one version, but the idea is you want to take what other folk got. And I discovered this is part of what that means. That means if you have something that I am jealous of, I try to take it from you. But not in the sense that I take it and then I become the possessor of it, but you got it and I'm jealous and I can't have it, and so I want to take it to make sure you don't have it. Let me break this down because you think I'm talking about taking some of your material stuff. I'm not trying to take your car. I look at you and there is peace all over you. And I'm jealous because I don't have that peace. And it's not enough for me to live without the peace, but I'm so jealous, I'm going to quarrel and fight with you, and it's not about you, it's about what's in me. I want the peace that you got, and since I don't have it and you got it, I'm going to mess with you to make sure I take it for you, because I can't stand you walking around in this house, coming up in this office, walking all around this church, peace on your face, and I got turmoil on the inside of me, so I'm going to lie on you. I'm going to say some crazy, foolish stuff to you. I'm going to walk by you and don't speak to you. I'm going to tell lies on you. I'm going to gossip about you. I am not going to be content until I take your peace from you. Look at that smile on your face. I ain't smiling, so you are not going to smile either. You got joy. I don't have no joy, so now I'm getting ready to take y'all somewhere. Now, if you married, you may want to slide over a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You better slide over because you might get hit. Do you know that even among married couples, and if your tater in here with you this morning, you sit next to your tater, you might ought to slide over. But did you know that even among married couples, there is this kind of jealousy and action? There's something in you, something that God has blessed you with, some experiences that you've had, and I am jealous of you. And so the cause of some of my quarreling and fighting with you is not even about what we're fighting about. It's not even about what I'm fussing about. But there's an undercurrent in here, and I am jealous. I'm jealous of your success. I'm jealous of your past. I'm jealous of your family. I'm jealous of how you handle problems. I'm jealous of your joy, your peace, your love. I'm jealous. I'm jealous of our children's relationship with you. I don't have that kind of relationship, and so I'm jealous. I'm jealous of how other people speak to you, how other people see you. They don't see me that way. They don't speak to me that way. I'm jealous. And because I'm jealous, I got something for you. Why did you cook that tonight? I don't want that food. I don't want that. Why is this house like it is? Why didn't you put so and so back like I had it? It's not about what you cook. It's not about the house. It's not about why you didn't put it back, but it's about knocking you down a little bit. Because in my mind, you're riding too high. You have what I want, and so since you got it and I don't have it, let me take it from you. That blew my mind because I couldn't believe that I would act like that and people would act like that. But then I examined myself. And I had to repent because I've been guilty. I didn't want to be, but I lost the battle. Yeah, I lost the battle. See, can I have an open confession? I used to be jealous because Albert was so handsome. He was my handsome cousin. So why you didn't bless me to be handsome and tall and debonair like him? And so I tell him, I said, you ain't all that. It's just that uniform. Once you take that uniform off, they ain't gonna like you. Okay. So, but do you get the point? All this fuss going on in the home, in the workplace, in the church. And let me just say something about the church, because you all, some of you see it, but some of you don't. But some of the worst infighting happens in the church. I know you don't believe this, but there's so many people who are jealous of other people's gifts, of other people's blessings, and so they come after them. And you be careful if you're sitting in the pew and the person you're sitting by begin to vilify some other church member, because understand, for the most part, that vilification comes out of their own insecurity. It comes out of what's wrong with them. The usher walked by. I don't like that usher right there. Why? Y'all, I don't know. Somebody comes to sing. They fold their arm. They lean back. They're not going to listen because they don't like who just led the song. And you better listen, because you ought to check yourself. It's not about who's leading the song, but it's about what's in you. It's the hell up in you. It's the evil that's winning the battle up in you. Ooh, yeah. So let me show you this, and then I'll be through. And so Pastor Simmons, how do I deal with that? Well, you examine the quarreling and fighting to see what the root cause is. You want something and you don't have it. And you prayed and you didn't get it. And so here is the reason for some of our unanswered prayers. Not all of them, but some of them. Are you ready? Here we go. Again, let me just start reading at verse 2. It says, you want what you don't have, so you scheme and kill to get it. You're jealous of what others have, but you can't get it. So you fight and wage war and to take it away from them. Yet you don't have what, here it is. Yet you don't have what you want because you don't ask God for it. Here is the point he's making. What you really need, what you really desire, God can give it to you. And you don't have to scheme. You don't have to fight. You don't have to quarrel. You don't have to be jealous of other people. And especially when you look at the bigger picture and understand that God gives you what he wants you to have. He blesses us according to our several ability with gift, which means God knows what our capacity is, and he gives us what we need, what we can handle. And so, whatever it is I desire, I just go to God for it. And I don't try to fight and don't try to hurt somebody else to get it. I want to be, with all of my heart, a successful pastor, but success for me doesn't mean the same thing as success for Pastor Drake. Because God has called him to a particular calling. God has called me to a particular calling. And success for me means I do what I do. I stay in the lane that he put me in and stay out of other folks' lane. And that speaks for every other pastor. And so I don't have to fight pastors. I don't have to talk about pastors. I don't have to compete with pastors. And so he says, God is the source. And then somebody will come back and say, but I believed that God was the source, and so I asked God, and I still didn't get it. So now that means I got to examine my prayers. Have I been praying right? And let me help the saints of God right here. Praying right has nothing to do with the eloquence of your words. Praying right has nothing to do with the volume of your voice. Praying right has nothing to do with how much you cry or don't cry when you start praying. Praying right has nothing to do with how loud you get and how many cliche-ish religious words we throw in the middle. Be kind, okay. And so, and I say that because not just in Mount Zion, but I see in the church family, these people who have these measurement of prayers. One person can pray, and others say, well, they didn't pray, and so they take over and they want to pray behind them because they can't pray. What you mean? They mean it wasn't loud enough. They didn't have enough cliches in there. It wasn't enough spirit in there. All that. I had a deacon once, good man. He came to me. He said, Pastor Simmons, I want you to know something now. I would do anything you ask me to do, anything the church want me to do, but don't ever ask me to pray in church. I said, why? He said, because I can't pray like these other boys. I said, see, that's the problem. You don't have to pray like them. You ain't got the 9 Lord. I stick my sword in the golden sand. You ain't got to speak in no tongues to pray. Get up there and have you a conversation just like you talk to God in your private prayer time, because I know you pray in private, and don't worry about no performance. And you see, the devil keeps us up on that shallow level so we don't ever go deep. And if you want to examine your prayers, you got to go a little deeper, and here it is. Examine your motives. Listen from this New Living Translation. They said some of you don't ask, and even when you ask, you don't get it because your motives are wrong. Why do you pray the prayer you pray? Why do you pray for what you want? Because your motive is wrong. Because what we pray for, when it talks about for your own pleasure, it's simply a way of saying what you pray for, you are praying to benefit you primarily. But you said, Pastor Simmons, isn't that what we ought to pray for? No. Can I tell you that you and I are created for God's glory? And like Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, facing Calvary, death on Calvary was not for his own benefit. And that's why he prayed, Father, if it be your will, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but your will be done. Because in the end, Jesus came to glorify the Father. And if facing Calvary brought the Father glory, that's what he wanted to do. And so glorifying God is the ultimate goal of our prayer life. And so let me make this real practical. God, I need you to bless me on my job. I want a promotion. Why? Is it because you're tired of working under folk who don't treat you right? And you want to get on top so you can get them back? God is not answering that prayer because that's for you. God, I need a promotion because these folk around here, nobody on this job know what they're doing but me. And so I'm the brightest thing in here, and I want you to promote me so I can show them how it's supposed to be done. Two things wrong with that prayer. One is you're not the brightest thing out there. And the second is your motive should not be to show folk up. Lord, I need you to bless me with a house. Why? Why? So I can be like somebody else? So I can hold my head up with pride so I can show out, show off? Or is it, God, bless me a house, and I give this house to you, and I use it in a way that honors you? I won't let this house come between me and you. God, bless me with some money. Why? Because, God, I need a new sofa. I need some tires on the car. I need a new wardrobe for homecoming. I got friends coming to town. You know, I got the grill for them. I got to go by the liquor store for them. Lord, you know I just need this money. And God is saying, none of that means anything to me. I bless you because I trust that you will not only take care of your needs, but first, you will allow me to be a blessing through you. That the financial blessing I send to you won't stay with you, but it will go through you to bless others, and that keeps it flowing. Here's a good one. Lord, I'm so tired of being alone. Send me somebody. Just send him my way. Lord, and if I'm being too picky, just help me. But Lord, I want him to be this tall. I want him to have this kind of job. I want him to be this and that. And Lord, send me her. I want her this tall. I want her to be this size. I want her to be, and we give God these lists, and then some of us get so desperate and say, Lord, I don't care what you send me. Just send me a man, send me a woman. Pastor, I'm tired of sleeping by myself. If the only reason you want a man or a woman because you're tired of sleeping by yourself, God ain't interested in giving you somebody just so you have somebody to sleep with. God is saying to you, you need to be content sleeping by yourself and sleeping with me before I can send you somebody else to sleep with. Because if you ain't content sleeping by yourself, you're going to run them out the bed before long. And if you're going to let somebody else sleeping with you replace me, I'm sure they're not going to send you somebody to take my place. But even in your mate, it ought to be a situation where you are praying because you want to honor God.
Thanks for watching. Be blessed and continue walking in the light.